We're wrapping up Mira May, and I've got a couple of awesome things to show you. Hi, it's Friday, May 30th, and my name's Marissa. This is Kissa Creations. This is a Flosstube video. I am mostly only going to talk to you about cross-stitch and cross-stitch related things today, other than a little bit of a life update. But thank you for joining me. Thank you for returning. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for your continued support. And if you are new here, I hope that you find something that you like and choose to stick around. I've got a couple new followers, so I really appreciate, and hi, hello to all my new people. Yesterday was beautiful. Today is a little bit gloomy. Yesterday though, the beautifulness was like not as expected, and my normal makeup SPF did not cut it. So I can't tell in my camera if I have it, but I have like the whole like red nose and then the like a crazy line from my sunglasses. Super cute. So not sure if I look like a tomato face on camera or not, but that is why. I had a really lovely day outside down in Kennebunk. We were at the Conservation Land Trust for our annual residency retreat. And then we went and did an escape room. That was my first time doing an escape room. It was so fun. I definitely would love to have a group of people that I would do that with on a more regular basis. I had an absolute blast. Like the satisfaction of like clunks and like doors opening and like things happening when you solve puzzles and like figure things out it was just like so great. And then just everybody's different brain powers, and it really like shows off how differently we work. Speaking of people's different brain powers, in my last video, I talked about how I was a piles person, and I talked about how that's just kind of the way that I've always lived. And watching myself back in editing, and then watching myself with my husband, who, while I know he doesn't love my piles, he has definitely like tolerated them and never really like gets on me that badly about them. It's not a deal breaker situation for him, the way that I organize. But my youngest has had a very cluttered room for a while now. And part of that is our fault because we have a lot of things in a too small space. Part of it is that she doesn't have spots for everything. They like very hurriedly switched from sharing a room and having a playroom to splitting their rooms, my two girls. And in doing so, we didn't really get to like do a setup. And so everything just kind of got shoved in one place or another, and it's rough. So I didn't watch a lot of Flosstube last week because I started kind of digging down for organizational stuff. And while I want to help myself, I really wanted to help my daughter. She was crying. She was really sad that her room was messy and she felt like she couldn't pick it up. And she's only 8, so it needs to be easy for her to pick up. We can't have a complicated system. It has to just be something simple. And so I found a lovely, lovely human on YouTube. She is, this was one of the things that I told myself, you need to write this down ahead of time so that you have it in a note, and then you don't have to do this and look at your phone. Did I do that? No, of course I did not. So she has a YouTube, her name is Dana K. White, and she is a Slob Comes Clean. She has also a podcast. She does her podcasts on YouTube, so you can stream them on there, but you can also use a podcasting channel. But then she also does cleanups on her YouTube video and on YouTube videos, and she like coaches people. So she will like do like one-on-one sessions where she will have her Patreon members like have their phone set up, and she'll coach them through like a cleanup process. And she is a creative minded person. She gets it. So if you're struggling with clutter, I highly encourage you to check her out. It was eye-opening for me. Normally when my partner, my husband, he's my person, when he is gone, I don't function well. I like him to be here with me, whether or not it's us in the same room. Like, and I can be doing my own thing, but I like having a person. A little codependency for you. But so when he's gone, I usually like kind of have like little mini meltdowns, I guess. But this time it was important that I didn't do that. And so instead of having a mini meltdown, I did positive things. And so part of that was starting to clean up my craft room, and it was helping organize my daughter's room for her. We threw out bags and bags of trash. We brought bags to our local consignment shop for kids things, and we brought bags to our local donation center, and we have another bag to bring to Main Needs that we will actually hold on to, even though I'm not, like, the whole thing is like get it out of your house, but this is like winter clothes, and I would like those to go to Main Needs because they are in good shape. And Main Needs is a lovely charity. I've volunteered for them before, and like packing bags that are like requested by social workers and things like that to really help families with exactly what they need. So if like their kid is lacking a winter coat, then they'll get a winter coat. So we have some like winter things that I would like to drop off there that won't go through a like resale situation. They will go directly to someone that needs them. All of that being said, I've got a craft room cleanup video coming. So I have only put an hour into it, but oh my gosh, it is a world of difference in there. And I am so excited to kind of bear all and share with you at some point how I am making this huge change. But I just wanted to, I know a lot of us are the same. Like I get comments that are like, oh, I'm like that too. I'm a piles person also. Or like, yeah, that it's that creative side, and she speaks to that side so well. So many of her Patreon members are like quilters or crafters, teachers that have like lesson plans that they're like, they've got collected stuff that like the things that we have that we like know are important, we might want to use them later. Those kind of people that just have stuff. So I wanted to do a quick shout to that because I just think it's a really beneficial thing for our community. I know sometimes we can get into like overconsumption mode in our community, and I've been really trying hard to get out of that. But now even more so, I am like really knowing what I have, really organizing my space, and I am really, really excited for that. So I promised to be on social media more this week, and I just was not. And to all of you single parents out there, I solo parented for 4 days, like with the help of my mom even, and holy cow, it was a lot. More power to you all. You're amazing humans. Whether you're doing it because you have to or because you want to, I respect. That is, it was not easy being the only person for long stretches of time that my children went to. I am very grateful for my partner and the teamwork that we do, and I am very yeah, just if you do that on a regular basis, or you have a partner that is gone for long stretches, like I just have always had somebody that has not been like has not had a traveling job, has not traveled a lot without our whole family. So it was a lot, but we got through it, and it needed to be done. One of the things, I'm going to show these first before I get to like my whips and stuff. This is cross stitch related though. So I showed you a couple videos back that my mother-in-law had sent me some floss from my husband's great aunt Rita, and she was a cross stitcher. And so he was at her house helping clean out. And my mother-in-law had sent me pictures of a couple cross stitches, and one of them I was like, I want that one for sure. These ones, if nobody else wants them, I will take them because I don't want them to go like to Goodwill or something like that. So I will show you first the one that I had originally said I wanted, and then so this one I couldn't find any information on. I did a reverse Google image search. There are so many stitches that are sort of like it, but this one was the one that I wanted, and it is made by her. It was framed in Southern California where she lived, but it is these beautiful cardinals. So this was stitched by Rita Carroll. So we have both little cardinals there, some like holly. So there are, when you Google image search this, like there's so many stitches of cardinals on holly. So if you were interested in stitching something like this, you could easily find it, but it's definitely vintage. It is on 14 count Aida. It is, I mean, it's taped on the back. I'm not going to open it up, but it's not, it's got, I think there's spacers in there because the mats are not touching the stitching. The frame's beautiful. I don't know if it'll pick it up. The frame is really pretty, and it's just, I love it so much. And then like the representation of cardinals and kind of just being like somebody's kind of keeping an eye on you. So it's a little bit Christmassy in my mind, but I think it will probably live year round in my craft room, or maybe even in this room, in this like cross stitch corner that I have over here. We kind of been talking about rearranging in here, but like I said, there's plenty of other things to do. All right, the other two that that Michael grabbed from her house, I could find on a reverse image search. And this was the first one, and this was in the kitchen in the corner. It says bread, and it has a couple different kinds of bread. This actually was not stitched by her. This was stitched in 1981 by her friend Mildred Harper Hornbeck. It was to be her December 1981 birthday gift, but she passed away in April of 81. But her husband gave it to me on my special day. So she wrote a note on the back. So I actually have tags. I think Lindy Stitches made them. I have tags for the back of my, to put on frames, and I haven't done that yet. But just reading this and having a little bit of backstory, that makes that so special. So you guys, mark your stuff. Put where it's from, who it's going to, who's gonna get it next, or like anything you have, put it on there. But thanks to a reverse Google image search, so this is from a Leisure Arts booklet called Kitchen Stitchin'. And it has actually a couple really cute patterns. I would probably pick it up if I found it, just because I have a stitched version of this, and it would be fun to just have a pamphlet in my collection. I have space for that. I could get rid of another one. So there's that one. And then this was the other one, and this was stitched by Rita also, and it was framed at the same place as the cardinals. And it is called Water Wheel Barn. It was sold as a kit. There is one available on Etsy right now as a full kit, so it's still there. And it is Paragon Needlecraft. So it's Paragon Needlecraft Water Wheel Barn. So that will live in our home. So I am just really grateful to own those stitches that held such special meaning, that they lasted on her walls for so long, and now they will live at mine. The bread one was like in that corner part of your kitchen. My KitchenAid lives in that corner part of my kitchen, but you know how there's like that corner like under the cabinets that like isn't really like a useful space? That's where that bread one was. So I'm excited to have that. I'm going to change my camera battery, and then we're going to do whips. All right. So last week or 2 weeks ago, I told you that I really wanted to touch more of my projects, especially because it is almost June. And at the end of June, we'll be halfway through the year, and then it will be time for a mid-year whip parade. And I'm sure they're already going to start flowing in. We're going to start seeing them pop up probably mid-month. But I was like using this time to make sure that I could get a few more things into that whip parade that are gonna have some progress on them. So the easy go-to, as it is and was May, was Mira May. I only have one Mirabilia. It is Sleeping Princess, which is this Princess and the Pea-esque sleeping beautiful, beautiful woman. And I told you I found my Krynic, told you I found this scroll rod, told you I wanted to get some stuff done, and I did. So, I put probably about 1,000 stitches into her. I worked all down here, so I got this whole chunk done right here, and then added some more color up in this top part. But I finally got to start working on the Krynic. So you probably can't see the sparkle of it, but it is there. And that was my whole goal of Mira May, was to get down to where I would start using the Krynic and get this bed frame started. So there's like a whole, you can see like this, this line is gonna be all bed frame. So especially because I don't necessarily want to be stitching all Krynic all the time, especially towards the end. I think that would drive me nuts. So it's not terrible to stitch with, but it comes along. And then thank you for those of you that weighed in on how I should attach my fabric to this. I was super impatient and I just staple gunned my fabric to it. I was like hopefully I don't regret it later. But I just staple gunned my fabric to it and rolled it up, and it's been doing fine. I do think I want to order those like magnety things with like, they're like, I think they're for holding like cords and wires together, but everyone uses them for cross stitch, and I think I'm gonna use them here because while I can get an amazing tension vertically, the horizontal tension, I mean, you can see it's kind of like puckered a little bit. And I like a tight stitch. So I put a before and after together on my Instagram, and I just love how much different it looks to me. But like where the bed sheets end is kind of where it was ending before. So like all this stuff down here is new, and I'm really excited about that. I really like this stitch. It is like so not typically me, I feel like, but it makes me really happy. So this is, 32 count Moana Lugana from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Steph, or Hand Dyed by Steph. She's changed her name. It used to be Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. I don't remember what it is now, but it's Lugana. It's 32 count. It's the colorway Moana. There are at least 2 other people that I know. I think Jessie Marie Does Stuff has a Mira on Moana. It's not the same one. And so does Garrett the Coffee Stitcher, who came back. Garrett, welcome back. I think I commented on your video. I didn't watch that many videos, but when I saw that Coffee Stitcher had made a video, I definitely checked his out, and it was great to see your face again. So thank you for coming back. I'm pretty sure you have a Mira on Moana from back in the day. It lives in my memory, or maybe you showed it in the most recent one. I don't know. But I think Jessie Marie also has one, and it's just a great color. I will say I don't stitch on Lugana often, and the sound the floss makes when it's going through this project is so pleasing to me. I stitch on linen a lot. I have occasionally stitch on Ada. Ada frustrates me because I split the boxes for some reason a lot. It's not because of how it looks. Like, I have a hard time stitching on it for some reason. I put the needle in weird places. Linen is like very straightforward to me. Lugana is very straightforward to me, but the sound that this makes is different than linen. I don't know what it is. And I don't know if it's all Lugana or if it's just this one. It's just the way like Stephanie's dyes come out, but I enjoy it so much. It's one of my favorite parts of this. And I've also really loved stitching on the scroll rod. I love how it sits and moves on my Lowry. I was using waist knots, or not even knots, just like wasting and like coming down. So I would come like do my stitching and then end it and come out the bottom and just kind of like lay my strands like down here out the front while I knew I wasn't using them, and let them get all covered up on the back. And then once I decided to flip it over, I flipped it over and it was great. I did some, and then I did like a waist pinhole start, because that was always a question for me. I would still need to, like, whenever I do like a pin stitch start, whenever I would do a pin stitch start, like I often would find myself either pulling up way too much or leaving way too much tail on the back. And I like wouldn't be able to gauge it. And so I would still be like flipping my fabric over, my frames over to look at the back. And I was like, well, that's not the point of doing that. Like if I was gonna flip it over, I would just find something to go under, as long as it wasn't like a rogue stitch kind of hanging out somewhere. So I would do like a waist start and then like start the first part of my pin stitch and then like pull. I would be able, it just helped me gauge how much tail was under there a little bit more. I don't know if that makes sense or not. If you have questions about what I am saying, please ask. I don't mind talking it through a little bit more. But I just thought I would share that, because I don't know that like people, I don't know that anybody had shared it before. Bridget the Museum Stitcher just did a great tutorial on how to do a like loop start with a single strand, or my friend Tina uses that same method to do it double stranded, so that she's not loop starting with the two flosses going in the opposite way. Anyways, so there's things that we all do that I think a lot of us do that are second nature. We talk about them, but then we don't talk about the actual application of that concept and what it means when you're doing it. And a lot of times you need to be shown, and perhaps that, like I said, Bridget just did a really great tutorial. But like, perhaps that is something that I also will need to show of what I do. And then I don't know if that's helpful or not, or maybe everybody already knows this and I'm just now discovering it, 10 years after I started stitching. I mean, we're always learning. Learning is fun. I love learning new things. It's important. But yeah, I think it's great. So anyways, Mira May, I did it this year. I'm really proud of myself, because last year I didn't pull out my Mira in May. I am going to try to pull her out again in November, and maybe perhaps another time if I am so inspired. I think that I might leave her out for a couple more days and see if I can get a little bit more of the bed frame done before I put her away. So if I do that, then you will see her one more time before she goes away until November, or I am so inclined to pull her out again. But that is where she is for now. And I only have used Krynic one other time, and it was for something very small. So how like beautifully it turns out in like on the Mira is just, it's really lovely. It really adds a lot to it. I have seen a couple Miras completed in person, but I have never stitched on one myself, and they really are, the pictures never do them justice. The videos never do them justice. They're just gorgeous. All right. I am so far behind on Extraordinary Birds. They just keep coming out, and I just keep not being able to get my act together. I did, however, add more stitches to my frame. So I am getting quite a bit more done on there. I need to get this part done so I can get up to this top part. I don't know if this is going to be what I pick up this week. Maybe we'll talk about plans at the end of this video, and we can come up with something together for me. I am stitching this on 40 count Luna Moth from Atomic Ranch or Bestitch Me. I forget. It's in the comments below. I don't remember which one it is. I think I said the wrong one last time. So now I'm going to say both of them, and it's one of them, and it's in the comments. And I will put one of my floss tags on here, or my project tags on here, / business cards, so that I will know what fabric it's on, and I will write it down for next time so that I don't keep doing this time after time. This is my little collection of flosses for this. It is a beautiful, beautiful stitch, as was the Deadly Aquarium. I really love her patterns. She does an amazing, amazing job. And that is Lola Crow. That is Extraordinary Birds SAL. And I think we're getting another release today, and then maybe there's a break. Hopefully I can use that break to catch up. That might be in the plans. I would really like to get that bottom part done and be able to move the Q-snap a little bit so I can work on that top portion and get the like dome of the frame completed and the two birds that are up there. I also worked a little bit on Shores of Hawkrun Hollow from Carriage House Samplings. So this is the full pattern. If you are on Instagram, Michelle, Main Moose Mom Stitcher, is also working on this, and she is chugging along. She is using a beautiful teal for like all the waters, like a bluey, aqua-y teal that is right up my alley, but I did not make a decision like that before I started, and so now I'm in the called for DMCs ish. There are a couple changes that I've made, and if you are stitching this in the called for DMC, just kind of be aware. So like the water for this one and the water for this one are called for the same color, but then there's like a outline water color on this, and it's called for like 1 number difference in the DMCs. And I was just like, that seems silly. So I just changed it and did it. It's the same watercolor as this and the same watercolor as that. So I have already completed blocks 1 and blocks 2. I'm working on block 3. And I started getting, I don't know, I think you saw when the mermaid was done, but I started filling water in. So I'm filling water in. And this is my precipitation day project. And while it has been very rainy, I was not stitching on the rainy days. The days that were super rainy, my husband was gone. And so I was busy and tired. And so stitching on 40 count was not happening. So this is 40 count doubloon from Picture This Plus, and it is being stitched in the called for-ish DMCs, and I love it. And it's just gonna, this one will be here year-round. It will live in this because it rains year-round here, or snows, or water falls from the sky in some form or another. Yeah, and it's been a wet May, which I am okay with and would prefer over a wet July, which we had 2 years ago. Fingers crossed it's not a wet entire summer, because that is always kind of a bummer. All right, and then the last thing I worked on, this pattern is called Fresh from the Garden. It's a Little House Needleworks chart. It's number 93. It has 2 patterns in it. I am eventually going to stitch both of them, but right now I am working on the needle book. And I'm just gonna leave it in its little frame, or a little, sorry, what do you call this, hoop? So I added, since you've seen it last, the spool and its needle and the thread coming off of it, and then part of this outline right here. So that was just kind of 2 nights of really quick work before bed. I didn't really put all that many stitches in it, but it was like after I left my big giant stand in the living room and kind of got comfy in bed and just had a little bit more little bit more eyesight left in me for the day and figured I would get a couple stitches in. All right, so as far as plans go, I, again, would like to maybe touch something else. So those were, so the two projects that I touched that I hadn't touched before were the Little House, this year, were the Little House Needleworks and my Mira. I would like to, again, add 2 more to that list of projects that I'm gonna touch that I haven't touched yet this year, so we can kind of keep ticking that number up and get to the point where this year I will have touched all of my whips, if not finished them. So that is in the plans. I don't know what that looks like. I am gonna work on Deadly Aquarium. I am gonna keep Shores of Hawkhorn Hollow out. I am going to do a little bit more of my bed frame on my Mira. And then what? I don't know. I think I'm gonna put the Little House Needleworks away, but you never know. I might pick it up again before I take it out of that frame. But yeah, I think that's it. I really, really appreciate you all joining me. I really do recommend, if you struggle with picking up, with organizing your space, with keeping your clutter, she calls it your clutter threshold, and it's the amount of things that you, not how much you can tolerate, how much you can deal with. Like what you can deal with keeping clean is where your clutter threshold is. And it's not about comparing yourself to anybody else. It is about doing what is good for you. If you're liking your clutter still, then stick with it. I am not telling you you can't have it, and I'm not telling you it's bad. It was negatively affecting my daughter, seeing the way that I live, and then her not being able to handle it, but kind of mimicking my behavior. But it bothered her clutter threshold of tolerance, not the way that this woman talks about it, but like her tolerance of what she had just wasn't working. And so she and I are working together. I'm doing that for her and for myself and for the rest of my family. And but you might not need to, and I'm not saying that you do. I am saying for me, this has been an amazing gift that this woman has given me, and I am forever grateful for that. So check her out if you're interested. Check out Bridget, the Museum Stitchers. I think she did it as like a YouTube reel. Can't think of a short. She might have done it on Instagram too. She might have posted it in both places, but she did a loop start with a single strand and little mini tutorial. And then what else did I tell you to check out? Is that it? I think so. I'll add some notes if I catch myself recommending other things to you while I am editing. I hope you all have the best week available to you. Take care of yourselves, keep stitching, and I hope that you are getting some summer-ish end of spring weather that is a little bit less gloomy than it is here in New England. Talk to you later. Bye.